Hello. It's been a minute. There's been a lot of shifts going on. I guess it's probably since the new moon in Aries that I was actually camera facing. That was during the Astro Bash conference in Borrego Springs, and so there was a lot of energy that got used up, and I needed to rest. And now that there's been so many shifts into Sagittarius. Mercury's going into Sagittarius. It'll be there actually until December 1st. So before we know it, it's going to be in Capricorn, approaching my ascendant. And Mars entered Sagittarius a couple days ago on the 24th, which will be there until the 4th of January. And then the Sun, of course. Happy Sagittarius season. Happy solar return to all the Sagittariuses out there. Living their best life, traveling the world. But yeah, all these Sagittarius placements are squaring my Sun and Mercury. Yippee! And now we have the full moon in Gemini. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing well and had a peaceful feast over the past week or so. The full moon in Gemini is at 4 degrees and 51 minutes. November 27th. 1:17 Pacific Standard Time, 1:17 a.m. There's a lot going on with this particular lunation, and one of them, so I do look at degree theory, which pretty much correlates the degree number to the zodiac sign. So I like to think of it as the house number. That's easier to remember. So the fourth zodiac sign is Cancer, and which relates to motherhood, the motherland, caring for people, patriotism as well. Because this is in Gemini, there's a lot of talk about, maybe over the holidays, we were reminiscing about, like home life or family. I know that came up a lot in my world, especially visiting or having an old high school friend visit spontaneously, like talking about, where people are, like, are they married? What happened to them? And like family dynamics and just, the differences between how we grew up. So a lot of talk about family. And another planet that is in the Cancer degree is Pluto. Pluto's at 28 degrees. So if you go around the zodiac enough times and just keep on counting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you'll get back to Cancer at 28. And Pluto is at 28 degrees in Capricorn. So in Capricorn, that is related to authorities, restrictions, limitations. Pluto representing power, wealth, transformation, death, rebirth, exposure of like truths. So that's happening. And with the full moon in Gemini, so this could look like, geez Louise, I'm in San Francisco at the moment, so now that the conference is over, it's back to our regularly scheduled chaos, I guess you could say. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There is the ruler of the North Node, also a few degrees away from the Sun, so the Mars in Sagittarius really adds even that much more like energy, aggression, and Sagittarius can already be very dogmatic and excitable, really sticking to their beliefs. And depending on placements in people's charts, it can be really off-putting because, people like shoving information in your face and, trying to convince you one way or another. And the thing about the new full moon in Gemini is that we're curious. Like, we want to be able to see all sides of a story or news. And as much as we want to, voice our opinions, Saturn in Pisces is making a T-square to the full moon. And so there's like a kind of like a hesitation or a restriction, or like, there's a struggle with voicing your opinions or really like getting down to the facts of things. And that probably played out over the holidays, maybe at Thanksgiving dinner with, all of the family around. typically that's what happens. I'm not even sure how many. It'd be interesting to know what percentage of people actually decided to not go home or not spend Thanksgiving with the blood family this year, because of conversations that can be very difficult, differences of opinions. We all know that over the past handful of years, there's been a lot of division and confusion about so many different topics. And, a lot of people have chosen to stay out of it or stick their head in the sand and just not believe things. Or there's also people who have gone overboard and really dived into rabbit holes and just gotten so far into it that they live, breathe, and sleep all these dramatic news stories that we don't even know if they're true or not. I mean, there's photo editing companies that are selling AI generated photos to journalists. So we don't know what's true. We don't know what's actually fact out there, which is why it's really important to sharpen our own intuition so that we can just know what is the truth. I mean, that's a whole nother tangent, but I mean, right now, the one thing I can suggest is to stop drinking fluoridated or water with fluoride in it, or toothpaste with fluoride in it, because that shit will inhibit your intuition. It'll block your pineal gland. Anyway, so the full moon in Gemini, so the ruler of the North Node is approaching the Sun, so it's about 2 degrees from the Sun in Sagittarius. Mercury isn't trine to the North Node, so information that we are communicating right now is meant to be shared. So to get us talking, to start the conversation, not shy away from these confusing topics. We have to kind of unravel these things and get down to the bottom of it. And at the same time, Mercury is squaring Neptune. So there's a low and high vibration to all planets and aspects. And so Mercury square Neptune, Neptune can be very confusing and foggy, but also it can be unconditional acceptance and universal truths. And with Mercury in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the truth seeker, and so receiving these truths, I mean, I consider Neptune like the tuning fork, and Mercury bringing in seeing the big picture. There can be the opportunity to, I mean, it'll be tense, but it's also the opportunity to really cut through the fog. And if your intuition is sharp enough, then you can really, detect the bullshit and discern for yourself, what's true and what's not. So that is also playing out, and I think is important in relation to this full moon in Gemini. And if you have any placements in Virgo, if you're a Virgo rising, sun or moon, these are all mutable placements. There can be a lot of indecision, and there's a lot of options available to you, a lot of information out there to consume, look at, and kind of decipher for yourself. And I mean, but don't feel like you have to choose any sides. And that's the whole thing with the war going on in the Middle East, is people are disappointed that some people are silent, or some people are choosing one side or another. And not choosing a side is supposed to say that you don't care and you have no soul, which is complete bullshit. Everybody plays a role in this world, and it's important for us to realize that we co-create. We are all co-creators, and so the energy that we put out, the energy that we are cultivating and really encouraging and focusing on, is what is projected out into the world. And so, I mean, a lot of spiritual teachers, healers, astrologers, Pam Gregory is one who's not on Instagram. I love her. She's actually not on any social media, but she has an awesome YouTube. Really talks about and describes and gives amazing suggestions, and just kind of outlines the whole, all the energies that we're experiencing and what we can do to shift our consciousness. And she talks about these energies with a lot of hope, and there's a lot to look forward to. Like, it's not going to be easy, for sure, but, you know, such is life. You know, it's not the end of the world. Things change. We go through these cycles, and we evolve. Another thing going on with this full moon is the ruler of the South Node conjunct the South Node. South Node is at 24 degrees Libra, so that's in a creative opportunity aspect with Mercury in Sagittarius. What this says to me is like being able to communicate our desires, what we like, our worth, our values, in a way that allows us to realize what we deserve. So not, you know, like kind of raising our standards, because I feel like with this placement, it's actually allowing us to really let go of things that we no longer can carry on with us. Like we're moving on, we're evolving, raising our standards, and looking out for ourselves, because the North Node is in Aries, which is all about the South, and kind of having less regard for making other people happy. Like the focus and the objective is making ourselves happy, doing what's best for us. It's, yeah, really important to, like, you know, take the time to figure out what feels right. Like if there's a nagging voice in your head, it's not to be ignored. You know, it is to be heeded, and like all these situations that are challenging are kind of like the universe's tests to see how we respond, and based on how we respond, then that will shift the timeline, and, you know, the universe will present to us a new situation, and if we've responded in the same way that we normally do, then we'll be presented with the same situation until we decide to try something different, because, I mean, the conditions have changed, and so it's time that we have, like, also made new decisions for ourselves. We can't keep on making the same choices in a new system, in a new paradigm. Like, those won't work anymore. And so until we start to shift our choices, our decisions, that is in alignment with these new paradigms that are aligned with us, then we're just going to keep on facing the same challenges. And it's easier said than done, you know, believe me. I'm still here in San Francisco, and yeah, it's not the easiest of shifts right now. So don't feel like you have to have everything figured out. You know, we're all learning as we go along. It is a new world, it's a new earth. So hopefully that helps. If there's a lot of aggressive energy out there that you know, your body is not responding to very well, then don't feel bad about, you know, just completely detaching from it. You know, like, give it some space, and you can take as long as you need. You know, it's not you, it's them. So just stay true to yourself. And I mean, Sagittarius, with the Sun in Sagittarius and the Moon in Gemini, this also speaks to having the integrity to stay true to yourself and stay curious. And, you know, there is a trickster element to this, just because, you know, the Moon in Gemini can be trickster energy, but staying on a high frequency level of this full moon in Gemini can bring about new discoveries, and, you know, just learning a lot of new things. So hopefully that helps. And yeah, I did a thing. I, you know, put together a new offering, and it is in my link tree, celestial analysis plus alignment. So just really taking a deep dive into your chart and raising, you know, the frequencies, so we all can, you know, better co-create together. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. You know, like us all being co-creators. If you are at your optimum operating level, and then we can progress as a collective and really shift the energies. And we're in the process of reversing what has been reversed over the past how many centuries. The patriarchy has been a piece of work, and now we're starting to realize and become aware of how it's only been a one-sided, self-serving system that we've been subject to. But yeah, it's a process, and we're here for it. I'm here for it. Hopefully you are too. And yeah, we can all co-create on higher levels. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, thanks for listening, and enjoy the full moon. And yeah, take care. Thanks.